Good morning, Heidi Foy here with Bullfrog Creatives. Listen, it's a Wednesday, but it kind of felt like a Monday this morning as we were working through some technology. So thank you guys for joining us. We are just a little bit late, but again, it's not our fault. It's technology. So thank you guys for joining us. For those of you that are viewing, just know that you can watch this live. You can come back and rewatch the replay. We are live streaming on Bullfrog Creatives, the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Association, and the official CNFR page. Because why? Because the CNFR is, you guys, 17 days away. We've got the countdown. All of the regional rodeos are completed, so we're just waiting to crown our national champions for the year. I'm pretty sure most colleges at this point have completed the school year, they've completed finals, or are dang close to completing finals. So today we are going to chat with the Big Sky faculty director, so you will not want to miss this. Stay tuned. All right. Good morning, Dell.
Morning, Heidi. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for joining us. I feel like I put you in these weird technology situations where you have to figure out all the things, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, yeah, and we had some readjustment on our computer, and we think we got to go a step further with the mechanics of it. So,
so that is even worse.
Next time it should be easier.
Let's hope so. So thank you for joining, and I will give a shout out to your sidekick, Becky. Thank you for managing that side of it for Delmer, because listen, we decided while we were trying to get everything set up that we have known each other for 25 years, which is a really long time. So I feel like I can also give you a hard time.
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't expect nothing less.
Same.
Yeah, Becky appreciates it, and I'd appreciate her too. So she's saved my butt several, a lot of the time.
I'm sure that she also saved mine numerous times while I was there rodeoing. So appreciate that too. All right. So talk to me a little bit about the Big Sky region. The Big Sky is interesting because, well, I'm kind of partial also to the Big Sky region, but there is one Wyoming school that travels up to Montana, and that would be the one that you are the coach at, Northwest College there in Powell. Would you say, I've not really looked at a map of any of the other regions, but travel distance, does the Big Sky region have the farthest to travel, or are there other regions that are a little bit more spaced out?
There are a whole lot more regions spaced out. We're just in the state of Montana, and actually Northwest College is right in the middle as you draw a line to our furthest rodeo, and we're traveling probably no more than 425 miles to any rodeo. That includes Havre, Missoula, and Glendive. So we're ideally in the right spot.
Well, yeah. So now if Northwest College were a part of the Central Rocky Mountain region, then you guys would go as far south as
Lamar and Lahana.
Lamar? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. We were in that region when I was going to school at Northwest.
Oh, really?
Yes. And Harold Farmer at the time was a coach. And we would travel. We'd have to go to Lamar and Lahana at that time. I don't know if Lahana still has a rodeo, but we'd have to stay down there and miss a whole week.
Yeah.
And travel or more, 10 days. And it just wasn't working. The expenses, it was just a nightmare. So after I left Northwest College, Harold Farmer petitioned the commissioners to move Powell into the Big Sky region. Big Sky region accepted. The commissioners went on with it, and here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it makes better sense for sure. Again, so Northwest College is located in Powell, Wyoming, which is right up by Cody. So it makes so much more sense for travel anyways.
Yeah, it's only 30 miles to the Montana line.
Yeah.
So it was huge. It was a blessing for me because our budget got cut quite a bit for the last 3 bienniums, and so we wouldn't have the monies to go down south.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think that's something that we don't often talk about, or we talk a little bit about on this platform. But each rodeo program it's up to you as the coach to raise money. I know that some programs are part of the athletics department, so maybe you get some funds from the college, but a lot of you guys have to raise your own money, raise your scholarship money, your travel money, and all that. So it's definitely something that you have to keep in mind.
Absolutely. And with the biennium cuts that we had in the last 6 years, our soft dollars got cut tremendously. My scholarship dollars were cut in half. So yes, we have to do a fundraiser. That money goes into putting on the rodeo. If I need extra hay, what's hay has got out of sight. We have some extra funding there, and that's been helping. And if we run out of money in the budget, I've got money to send the kids to the college finals. So it's kind of a safety pad.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Big Sky region as a whole. I know you mentioned that you guys had done a fundraiser maybe last year and this year. Kind of tell me about that.
Well, we're very fortunate. Corey Meady and his wife are part of Platinum Trailers, and their generosity and them coming on board for the Big Sky region, that we got a Platinum trailer, and for the last 2 years, and we sent the tickets out to all the students in the Big Sky region. They got 10 books. It was $25. Yeah, 20 bucks at 25 tickets at $20. Last year we come in about 62,000. This year we come in about 65,000 on the ticket sales and stuff. So that money goes into the Big Sky region to help pay for officials. Also paid for the trailer. Our saddle awards are expensive, and buckles and yada yada on down the line. On that case, the student didn't have to go out and hustle the money for the awards, and that's what this was designed for. So actually we've done pretty well. I didn't think the second year was going to be as good as the first. It damn sure was. It's a lot better. So we're excited about that, and we're going to do it again next year. They voted on it.
So what kind of trailer is it? Different every year, or what kind of trailer do you guys
do? It was a 22-foot with a saddle compartment in front and a 7 wide, 7 tall. It was a nice trailer, aluminum stock trailer type deal.
Nice. Very nice. So, I mean, it's not anything to mess around with. It's a very good trailer. Anybody would be happy to have something like that.
It was on the market. It would be at about $34,000 trailer is what it was, and we got it a little bit cheaper than that. So that helped us a lot.
Very cool. So enough to pay for the trailer and walk away with some money in the pocket and money in the bank for the Big Sky region.
For the Big Sky region, like I said, all the awards that goes on and stuff like that.
So talk to me about how much what are the expenses? You said the stock, the judges. I assume there's sometimes probably venue charges, for the facilities where you have the arenas, or excuse me, the rodeos, the arenas where you have the rodeos. About how much, what is the operating budget for the Big Sky, or what are the expenses in a year?
Well, we don't cross the line on each individual rodeo through the region. What we do, we do pay for the judges. We give them a $200 bonus for each performance. And the school pays $200, so they get $400 per judge, and then they get a $1 run. And the rooms, that is up to the school. They have to furnish that. We just do the $400 or whatever, how many performances for the judges. What also we do is, if there's a school that is having issues or troubles putting their rodeo on, and let's say they don't get enough attendance and stuff, we'll step in there and help pay for that rodeo, so we don't lose that team and we don't lose that rodeo.
Yeah, because ideally you want to have 10 rodeos in the season. So I remember when I was still rodeoing up there, there was a regional rodeo in Helena. Is that still going on?
No, it would have been nice, but we had Great Falls come back on. And then they picked up that rodeo on that weekend. But now Great Falls has withdrawn from the Intercollegiate Rodeo Association, so we're doing doubles now. So I do a double, Bozeman and Miles City. So that's how we're getting our 10 rodeos. So, but there's been some talk from the coaches maybe going back and doing a regional rodeo in somewhere else. I don't know for sure.
Well, and it can be hard. I mean, when you say we're going back to doing doubles, um, doing 2 rodeos in a weekend can be hard on the team, on the students, on the coach in particular. So I can see.
It's a work in progress. And I tell you what, it's you're there 4 days and all that stuff. But I look at it. Everybody gets the same competitive opportunity and all that. I would beg to differ. Um, Going into Texas and having that many contestants on each region, like 600, between 500 and 600 students, and they only do a long and a short, and they got 4 days of rodeo and they don't stop. So my hat goes off to those guys. At least we got a little downtime. We have a long, we come in slack, do a performance in the short round, and then second rodeo same way. So we're not that bogged down.
It works a little better. Yeah, it works a little better in the Big Sky. Right. How many, I kind of feel like I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you know how many student memberships you have in the Big Sky region?
We have right now, the last count was like 200 or 201, 203 or 4 or 5, somewhere in there.
Right around there.
Semester time, it increases, and some kids don't get the grades as freshmen. So
right.
I got my board book. I could tell you right now, but it isn't right here. But anyway, we're right around the 200 student mark.
So have you seen an increase or decrease? I mean, where does that number sit year over year?
Last year and COVID year, we were down. This is starting to come back up a bit. I think we got up to 12 more new students for the fall. Then we gained a few in the second semester because they didn't have enough credits or something. And I don't know what the number is. It's pretty close to 210. So.
Okay. Delmer, do you have the regional results in front of you?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to pull it up and we'll just talk through the men's team. So we'll talk through the results. The men's team, let's see, maybe I can share.
Bozeman ended up winning the region, and then Dillon come in second. It was a kind of a cat fight all the way through there. Dillon was leading for a while. Then the last 2 rodeos, they kind of slipped a little bit. But the Big Sky region wasn't really dominated by just one team. Everybody seemed to be the top 4, at least top 5 was getting points, and things were going along pretty good. And then right at the last rodeo at Missoula, Bozeman stepped up, and Dillon didn't have that good of luck, and so both ended up winning the region. So, but they weren't dominant, and the placings were spread out, and that was pretty good for the region, I thought. After COVID, things changed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of made it a little more difficult, I feel like.
Right. A little more even across the board. A lot of the kids that Bozeman was dependent on stayed down south, did their classes online, didn't come back to school, stuff like that.
Now, did you guys see, I know there's a lot of kids, well, I know a lot of kids that rodeoed for Casper College that would go down south in the winter, but maintained that class load. Now, did you guys see that? Because I imagine that, I mean, winters in Big Sky are pretty similar to winters in the Central Rocky Mountain region. So did you guys see any kids that were just maintained that online presence and kept those online classes, but would go down south in the winter?
Right. After we got done practicing at our college rodeo, after the last rodeo, the end of September, some of the families went south from our school and did the online thing. But the stipulation I have, if you're going to rodeo for Northwest College, you will be present at the practice pen during practice time. So we'd start our classes, our practices in February. And so they had to be back
in the state.
Right. So they're back on campus.
Okay.
So
our women's team, pretty similar. I mean, like you said, Montana State really has had a strong team for the last several years. I mean, I think Andy Bolich really built it back up. And talk to me about, I know there's a new coach. I don't know who it is. So who's the new coach at Montana State?
Kyle Whitaker's coaching both teams there. He's doing a good job. The girls were really dominant, but those girls have been together for at least 4 years, and some of them had a COVID year and they come back. Very impressive girls. I mean, they were really competitive and stayed competitive, and they dominated the region in the women's side. So my hat goes off to them, and Kyle too. Getting back to MSU men's side, I think Kyle would have had a lot stronger season if some of the kids he got hadn't come back to, or would have come back to school. He'd have been more competitive.
So we spoke about Dillon a little bit, University of Montana Western, Montana State University Northern. This is I appreciate seeing Montana State University Northern. This is Havre, is that right?
Yes.
So now is Doug still the coach up there?
Yes, he is. Doug's doing a great job up there recruiting and stuff. I want to back up just a little bit. We're kind of at the mercy of the four-year schools.
Yeah.
And Doug is kind of on that side of the fence because Missoula, Bozeman, and Dillon have the funding and the foundation and stuff for the scholarship dollars. So after you get past them schools, we're kind of picking up what they left over or didn't want, and we're trying to make it and bring them in as a work in progress and trying to go on. And Doug's on that same page as we are. So Doug's done very well up there, and Doug's he's also now he's teaching there and he's coaching, and he's really getting it put together.
I do have Mr. Flint. Thank you for joining us. Shelby Rasmussen as the Bobcat women's coach. So sounds to me like he's getting a little bit of help over there.
At MSU, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Listen, those women, like you said, when you get to that 4-year program, the women, especially right now, having that COVID year, you've got 5th-year kids, maybe even 6th year if they're working on a master's program, that are still coming back, and they're helping, they're coaching and mentoring those young athletes and kind of giving them showing them the ropes. I will add real quickly, Flint, congratulations on your final performance with the PBR. I cannot imagine the emotions that was wrapped around that performance. So anyways, a little sidetrack there. But yeah, especially those Rasmussen girls, they've been involved with, rodeo in general, but college rodeo now for several years. So the experience that they bring, and of course, I want to remind everyone that Montana State women won the national championship last year. They've got several national champions, individual events on the team. So that experience really does play into the entire team, truly.
Oh, absolutely. And the Rasmussen girls are very, very user-friendly, very classy ladies. And they have the drive and the ability to win their event. And and they're also, it seems like you got a student like that or a couple of them. They're helping the kids in the other teams too. I mean, they really spread out the knowledge and stuff like that and help these other girls come up and step up to the plate. So my hat's off to the Rasmussens and Flint. What a guy, and we've known him a long time, and he's been a real asset to the state of Montana and the whole Intercollegiate Rodeo Association. So
yeah, for sure.
Proud to know him.
I would add too, you mentioned there's lots of 2-year colleges that are competing with the 4-year colleges. So if you're a new college rodeo fan, that's going to be a little bit different than other college sports. Like even when you're doing sports in the high school level, everything is very separated by school size. And when you're doing college rodeo, it's not. The 2-year schools are competing against the 4-year schools. It's the same number, you're picking from the same pool. However, just like you mentioned, you may not be able to provide all of the things that a 4-year college would be able to provide. And that's going to be, I don't know necessarily that hurts you, because I feel like there are students that fit better in a 2-year program to start. And there are students that the 4-year program is no big deal and they can move right into that 4-year program. I talk about it a lot on this platform in particular, that I started at a 2-year and it was good for me. I didn't feel like I really had the college prep that I needed to be successful at a 4-year right away. So, you kind of, you got to put some thought into it. I feel like when you're picking your rodeo program and your school of choice.
You do, and it takes a lot of thought, but also you got to have the amenities with it. And first of all, the small schools that I'm aware of, the colleges are 110% behind the rodeo program. Next of all, you got to have the facilities and the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it this way: we got all the tools. They have the opportunity to better themselves when they come to school. So it's a toughest deal on a freshman anyway, because they don't have a GPA over 2 semesters. They got to have if they mess up or stumble a little bit, they're not eligible for the second year, and GPA is that. But that's where the 4-year school comes in, because they got so many more students than we have. If they lose one little freshman and get him back on board, they can use him. He can come back in the following year and just mature. But all the 4-year schools out there, both in the Central Rocky and the Big Sky region, they're all looking at the good kids, and it is tough. Like, let's take Wyoming. There's 7 junior colleges in Laramie, all after the same kids, with the least populated state.
Yeah.
So we have a hard time picking them kids up. We just got to be aggressive and show them what we got, and we're getting some kids. We're also getting some kids out of state, and some Canadians. So we're excited about that. So that kind of helped. We just got to get aggressive and go out and really say, hey, this is what we're all about. We think we can help you, and have a good visit with the parents. And sometimes we get them, and sometimes we don't.
Yeah, perfect. Let's talk quickly about men's all around and women's all around. Again, we have talked about the all around competition on some of the other countdowns, but the all around is a unique. I never really put a lot of effort into it, because I think student athletes, by the time they get here, they've been competing in multiple events probably since the start of their rodeo careers. And so I didn't, as a student athlete, put a whole lot of thought into how difficult it was. But of course, now when I have to manage a lot more things in my house, I can see that it starts then. Like, you're managing multiple events, multiple times to be up. Sometimes you have different horses that you've got to be prepared for. So the other thing that we've talked about is these contestants have to earn at minimum of 200 points in more than one event to be considered for the all around. So if you have one really strong event and you do so-so in another event, you've got to do so-so up to that 200 point mark before all those points will count. So just a little feedback there.
Yeah, and we've had that in the Big Sky region a lot. We've got some kids dominating the event, and then they're like, let's say the team rope, and they don't come in and they don't get their 200 points.
Yeah.
So that's a tough deal, but that's college rodeo, and that's how the rule book reads. So that's what we got to go by. But I had a student that was win the all around in the nation going into the college finals 2 years in a row, and he worked all 4 or 5 events. Those kids don't come along very often, and so that's what's happening here. We're all recruiting for multiple event students. Sometimes the second and third event are not as strong as the first, so this is how it falls. Hopefully we got the tools to improve on the other events, and the kids pick it up and run with it.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about men's all around. We've got Bodie Spring. Is that right? Bodie William Carter.
Bodie Spring, yes. Both MSU. Bulldog's good. Ropes Calves and Team Ropes good. That's all I can say about him. And he's a good kid, and he's dedicated. I've known his grandpa before I come and coach Northwest at Bozeman, Sam Spring, and what a family. Great family, great rodeo family. So Bodie's done really, really well.
And then coming in the second place for men's all around is Jet Murphy from University of Montana Western, another Dylan kiddo that we talked about.
Yes.
What events does he compete in? Do you know?
All 3 timed events. Great bull auger, ropes calves. good, and team rope's good too. So that the bull hogging's his top event, and the other two are right behind it. Done well. Had a little bad luck. Some calves got up, and maybe in the team rope, and his or header missed. So anyway, he's quite the kid, really. And just off the cuff, he's furnishing the cattle at the college finals this year too.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So women's all around, we see that name again, Rasmussen, Paige Rasmussen coming in. If Flint is still on, what year in school? I mean, how many more years do we have left to see this Rasmussen at the college finals? Because I feel like every time she comes, she puts on a clinic and a show for sure. Winning the women's all around Montana State with 1,594.5 points, followed by another MSU cowgirl is JC Curran. And I will, goodness gracious, the top 5 places in the women's all around is all Montana State, top 5 places. So they've got some depth to their women's team for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So what are some highlights? I know there's a couple of things that we have coming at the CNFR this year that we've not done in the past. One of them being I keep wanting to say back number ceremony, but it's not a back number, it's an armband. So I know that it's exciting to see some new changes come in and some things happening to try to keep it fresh, but also to highlight the contestants a little bit more. What are you hearing? Do your students know about that change? And I guess, what are you hearing about that?
Well, I don't know if everybody knows about the back arm, but Jim Dewey Brown has been pretty vocal about it. They want to bring us up to speed with the other events like the NFR and stuff like that. You hit the nail on the head, highlighting the students. They're the top 3 in the nation in their region, so they need a little more sugar, you might say, to bring them in and let the public know where they're from and who they are, and be able to say, hey, that's my student. Coach says, yeah, he's my boy or girl. So that Jim Dewey's got pretty aggressive on putting some more added value to the college finals for the public, general public. So we got a few more events going on, I think, and we'll just see how it plays out.
Yeah, for sure. I would add, it's one of those things that we talked about last year, trying to pull it together at the last minute. And I know it got we put a pin in it for this year. So I hope to see the parents and the students and the coaches really get behind it. It's one of those things that it's just kind of as it grows and continues to grow, it'll just be one of those things that you definitely don't miss. Rather than coming in for check-in at about 2:30, 2:45.
Yeah,
we're making something of it this year. So I hope to see the student athletes really jump on board with it. So
there's no doubt in my mind that's going to happen.
What's that?
There's no doubt in my mind that's going to happen.
Yeah.
There.
Now, when will you come in for the finals?
I'll be there on the 8th of June. We got board meetings on, we got a little get together Wednesday night, and then board meetings on Thursday. And then we go in and start doing the stock thing, setting up the arena and stuff. All we can do to help and all that stuff. And then we'll have the student check meeting on Saturday, and then the Bronx Bears and Bulls on Sunday.
Perfect.
And the breakaway. So
perfect. So your countdown is a little shorter than what I mentioned. Your countdown's closer to 15 days already. 14 days.
Yeah. So we got the board book. I'm on the rules committee. I've been reviewing what new rules are coming in, what the coaches and the faculty directors are thinking out there, and we'll in the meeting we'll either vote or pass it or deny it, one or the other. And it seems to me this is the biggest year for proposals and rule changes. So
we may see some things come down.
Yeah, there'll be some changes. So
okay, hopefully for the better. We always like that.
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you what, our board's very level-headed, and they but really impressive about that is the students are stepping up the plate and vocalizing their thoughts, and we as the wise old owls that we're supposed to be out there listening to all this, have a tendency to say, okay, let's listen, let's see what they got to say, and then make a decision. But it's got to play also for the student, but also for the school. So
Right,
uh,
right.
I can't. I'm not willing to take on a lot of debt because we got to change something for a rule change. So and then I don't expect to push it on any of the other schools either. So
Right, absolutely.
yeah,
It's got to be smart for everybody involved.
right. And usually it is. Usually it is.
Yeah.
They come up with some good thoughts.
Well, and I'll add, I think a lot of the people that tune into this broadcast kind of already have that knowledge, but just if we have any new people that are watching, this is one rodeo association or college, I would say college sport that does have that student director or that student athlete buy-in. The board of directors consists of 11 faculty directors, which is one from each region that is a member of the NIRA, and 11 student directors from
Right.
each of those regions. So half student athletes, half faculty directors, and they really get, I mean, their vote is the same as your vote. So
Right.
the students have a say in how the organization is run, the rules. You heard Delmer talking about any rule changes that are coming up. They have a say in the rules and how the organization is run. And I think that can be different, although it's not different from rodeo association to rodeo association. It can be different from other sports. If you're a new rodeo fan, this is how it works. And I would say this is how it works at the high school level. I know the state of Wyoming has student directors, and it's how it works at the college level too. So it's I think it's unique to rodeo in particular, and especially at the collegiate level.
Right. And just a little add on to that, when you're in the amateur associations or the PRC associations or stuff like that, it's just an individual. We have to think about the schools and the stuff they're also involved. So that sheds a lot of light on what we need to really think about, and is this going to work for them and the kids? And it's a work in progress, and usually it comes out on the positive side.
So, Delmer, how long have you been a faculty director?
Oh, probably around 21 years. So I missed a year, so it'd have been 22, but I think 21 years. I don't really count them. I don't count age
Yeah.
or anything anymore.
So how long have you been the rodeo coach at Northwest College?
About 24 years.
Well,
Yeah.
it's got to be at least 25.
Yeah, at least 25. Yeah, that's right, 25.
Now,
I lose track of time.
26, because, the gal that was just ahead of me in school, she went there before me, so you were there. Yeah, you're pushing maybe 26, 27.
Yeah, probably like that. I was an assistant coach for Ike Sankey for 2 years before I took over the coaching job, head
Man.
coach job.
So at this point, you're just building a legacy.
I don't know about that. I'm just trying to help kids, and it's all about the kids and the students, and make sure the schools are taken care of. And as a faculty director, think about just your team. You make sure that every student in the region gets competitive opportunity, and that's my job. And that's why we pay our judges $200 a perf more, because I want to make sure I get the best officials there. And our schools and region is very professional, and we run our rodeo fast, and because we can, and we got a lot of support, a lot of fanfare going on here, and so we're still pretty excited.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, Dale, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and we will see you in a couple weeks.
Can't hardly wait. I'm excited to get down there and roll up my sleeves and see what we can get done.
Awesome. Thanks, Dale. Have a good week.
You too. Happy trails.
All right, you guys. So, listen, we've talked so much on this platform about the work that these student athletes put in, and I would also say that the coaches, listen, this is one of those sports that probably doesn't get, the coaches definitely don't get the salary that you're looking at when you're dealing with college basketball coaches or football coaches, and they're not doing it for the money. I would say a large majority of the coaches that we see through the NIRA and through college rodeo coaches are probably not getting paid what they're worth, but they're getting paid to, just like Dell said, to be around these students, to help kind of form and shape the next generation of our rodeo athletes. And many of them have been doing it for as long as Dell has, because they love the students and they love the sport of rodeo. Yes, one of our viewers just said it is a labor of love, and I would certainly agree with that. So, we've talked to so many coaches on this platform that have been doing it for just as long as Dell has. Dr. Al with Texas A&M has 40 years. So I think it's unique, again, to the sport of rodeo, and how and why we have created such a strong rodeo family across the United States. So thank you again for tuning in live. We had a few viewers today. We apologize for being late. Sometimes that happens when you're dealing with technology. So we appreciate you guys joining us. If you have any questions that we can answer, please comment, and I will do my best to respond and get you guys an answer. Again, we are just 17 days away from the CNFR and crowning our national champions for the 2023 season. Want to give a shout out to, excuse me, all of our national sponsors. I think I have it printed somewhere, probably not within reach. Definitely want to give a shout out to Cinch Jeans and Shirts, because not only do they sponsor the NIRA and the official CNFR, but they are a proud partner. I'm going to say they're proud. They haven't said otherwise, but they are a proud partner of Bullfrog Creatives and this platform, and we are greatly appreciative of them. So you guys go out and get some Cinch Jeans today and let them know that you appreciate their support as well. All right, 17 days out, and we will be back on Friday. We're going to chat with Sadie Biggs, who is the student director in the Ozark region. So we will catch you guys later.
Perfection almost looks easy. No! But it isn't. Here's to those who go the distance.